Guys, before each show, I go to the bathroom and I was coming back and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. And god damn, I'm a handsome man. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey. Hope you're having a good day. Mine is And we're here to talk about some horrible shit. Good God, man. What's going on in the world? I took a nap and then I slept for a long time. And apparently I blew up the Middle East. I'm getting more powerful, you guys. Holy crap. Uh, I'm just going to have to stay awake for everybody's safety. Is there anything I want to talk about before we get into Israel? I don't know. There's, of course, other shit going on, but this is the big story and it's worth talking about. You know what? What's really interesting to me is the reactions. Lots and lots of reactions. There was some I was surprised by. Some I was, yeah, that's about what I expected. I heard this predicted by remote viewers. What? Now I feel confused. Monkey, you're too powerful. I know my power's growing. I gotta find a way to tamp it down before something really bad happens. All right, I guess let's get into it. The Palestinians, everybody keeps saying Hamas. Let's be clear about what Hamas is. Hamas is a terrorist organization within Palestine. Not a real place. It's a terrorist organization within Palestine. But what nobody ever talks about is that the Palestinians voted to have Hamas controlling them. If you go back to the 2006 election, the Palestinians, their choices now, let's be fair about it, were between the PLO and the Hamasians. The Hamasians, is that a word? Between the PLO and Hamas. And they're like, we want Hamas to lead us. Their leaders, it's kind of separated over there. There's two ruling factions of the Palestinians. One is the PLO, the political wing of the PLO. The PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, I think is what the O is for. I don't remember. Maybe it's offices. I have no idea. I forget. But a terrorist group, the PLO. And their other choice is Hamas. And that's who's leading them. And they're like, but Hamas, no. This means the Palestinians attacked. No, it's just the Hamasians from over there in the Gaza Strip. Stop trying to separate the terrorists from the terrorists. That's what they are. They've been terrorists for a long time. The Jews have been forced into working with these people. Oh, you got to be nice to the terrorists. Be nice to the damn terrorists. We even see that today. We had leaders come out today like, hey, including the Biden administration. The the Palestinian Authority here in the US government, whatever the fuck it is, like, you guys, you Jews, you need to calm down. Don't retaliate. They murdered, raped, and kidnapped people, but don't retaliate. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? I'm so tired of hearing this shit. I'm so tired of people defending the Palestinians. They're a bunch of goddamn terrorists, okay? Before 9/11, before America woke up to what terrorism is, the Jews were dealing with it daily. This shit has been going on for a long time. Like, you need to make peace. No, you don't. You need to be like, all right, you do this shit. Hamas just fucked around and they're about to find out because Netanyahu got up there and went, yeah, all right, fine, it's war. It's war. Good luck. We'll see what happens. My money's on the Jews. I think they're just better armed, honestly. There was a report, something like, what was it, 5,000 rockets were fired from Gaza. These poor Palestinians who they can't get food. Do you see what the Jews are doing to them? They can get rockets. How the fuck they get 5,000 rockets to fire? Which, by the way, from what we've heard, the Iron Dome over there in Israel did pretty well keeping most of that shit from falling. But look, I want to be honest about this, okay? If this happened even a decade ago, you would have almost complete international agreement that this was the Jews' fault. The only reason that people are standing up now and going, how dare they do this, is because we got a whole lot of cell phone videos of what actually is going on over there, including the kidnapping of old ladies, the rape, torture, and murder of a German citizen who was there at a peace dance. There was a celebration over there, an all-night dance party for peace, and the Palestinians went in there, killed, raped, and kidnapped a bunch of people. And it's on video. That's the only reason people are going, oh yeah, those fucking bastards. It's not the first time they've done shit like this. Now, it is the biggest that we've seen in quite a while. But yeah, it's not the first time we've seen this shit. They fire rockets in there all the time, and then the Jews fire back, and they're like, oh my God, they blew up a building. Yeah, because the Palestinians purposefully parked themselves in highly concentrated civilian areas, which, by the way, with our agreed upon rules of war, is a war crime. And they do it all the fucking time. The last time that there was a major, maybe it was the time before last, that there was a major blow up between the Israelis and the Palestinians, we actually had pictures of them with their rocket batteries sitting right outside a fucking hospital. And they're like, cannot believe the Jews are firing at a hospital. Look, I'm not saying the Jews are perfect, okay? I'm not saying Israel doesn't do some fucked up shit. But when it comes to which side is worse, I will side with the Israelis every time. Okay, maybe not every time, most of the time. So there's no call for what they did here. And I'm tired of seeing it just blamed on Hamas, because you can't just blame it on Hamas. Hamas is part of their fucking government. They're also backed by the Iranians, who just got $6 billion from the United States, which I guess we should talk about, because there's the $6 billion. You know what? I don't want to just see my face on screen. How about we bring up a story with some facts in it? I'm not going to read it right now, but there we go. Something else to look at besides my beautiful little monkey face. Real quick, just an aside, before the show, that JF video is doing very well, and I'm not quite sure why. But I went over to see the comments on it, and somebody said, hey, if you're going to comment on public figures, at least show your face, coward. I responded with blow me. But anyway, the usual suspects are out there with their Palestinian, there's no other way to say it, excuses. And I'm tired of seeing the Palestinians separated from this. But we're talking about the $6 billion, and $6 billion was unfrozen in assets, because the U.S. froze assets in South Korea that belongs to Iran. They sold oil, and we froze it in that bank so they couldn't get it. The Iranians agreed to turn over 5 U.S. hostages in exchange for that $6 billion, and it went through. And the Biden administration is like, look, there's no way they can use this for anything but humanitarian efforts. It's all humanitarian. It's humanitarian. Did I tell you it was humanitarian? And you know what? Where is that bitch? Let's something to look at. Let's find that retard who's out there like this. They couldn't use that money for anything else. She's I think NBC reporter. So much stuff I saw today. Sorry. Who does she work for? She works for Fox News. She works for Fox News. That makes even more sense. Told you guys I didn't mean to do that. The Fox Newsians, man, they are as left as you can get these days. Hi, King Fernor. How are you, man? It's been a while. If the Israelis obliterate the Palestinians, no one in the Muslim world will blink. Even other Muslims dislike Palestinians. Thank you so much for that donation. Yeah, and they're jeopardizing the peace that has been built. We just had the Abraham Accords, and they were expanding on that. This is a financial boon for everybody in the fucking region. And these idiots are like, let's destroy that. That's a good fucking idea. All right. Regarding the $6 billion, I spoke to several senior officials who were involved in the unfreezing of the $6 billion to Iran in exchange for 5 U.S. prisoners, hostages, some of whom worked under the Trump administration and are still serving. Those who were saying that $6 billion was part of American hostage release negotiations by the Biden administration likely fueled the Hamas invasion. Palestinian invasion, are missing some key facts. None of the money's been spent yet. It remains in Qatari banks under U.S. Treasury watch. Has the Pentagon ever explained where that was it billions or trillions of dollars that went missing? Has the Pentagon ever explained where our own money has went missing? But don't worry, Treasury's got this one locked down, y'all. Treasury's on top of this. They're going to make sure it's not spent incorrectly. How's the money being spent in Ukraine? Oh, that's right. We have no oversight whatsoever. Evolved Potato, thank you. The Israelis, whoops. Since Jack told me that notice sometimes makes me duck out a little bit, I try to stop when I hear it come through, so we don't have the issue with that, and I can never tell. So hopefully I'm doing it properly. But Evolved Potato, thank you so much. The Israelis tell people to evacuate before they blow up the buildings to blow the buildings to Kingdom Come. Unlike the surprise rocket attacks, which is one of the rules of war, like America did before they nuked Japan. Indeed. And Frosted Glass, thank you. Between Ukrainian Nazis and Iran, is there any enemy of the Jews the Biden administration won't fund? No, there's not. They like to talk a good game when it comes to Israel, but yeah, they're no friends. All right, so the $6 billion was Iranian money for oil sales that was held in South Korean bank, not U.S. taxpayer money. That is true. It wasn't. We didn't just write them a check with our own treasury. This was money we had frozen. Very much the same as I don't know if you guys remember when we dropped off the pallets of cash to Iran for what was it, Bo Bergdahl? No, who was that we gave that to? Was that I forget, but yeah, it was. They're like, we didn't come from our treasury. Yeah, it was their money. Totally not used to blow people up. Anyway, under the Trump administration deal that preceded Biden's hostage deal, Iran could draw on that money for humanitarian purchases that had to be verified by the U.S. Treasury. The money sat in a South Korean bank because it was held in South Korea won, and no international banks would convert. Now, see, she's trying to make this look. Yeah, it was the Trump. Trump did it. Trump did. How do you Trump would? Okay, fuck off. It was the Biden administration who did this, and you're still. But Trump. Anyway, all right. Let's just for a moment, let's entertain this ridiculous fucking idea that this $6 billion couldn't be spent in any way other than humanitarian need. All right. So let's say the Iranians, for humanitarian purposes, they spend $100 billion a year. Well, this year they spend $94 billion, and that other $6 billion that they would have spent there, they go spend somewhere else, and then they spend this $6 billion that's in Qatar. Like, see, this was for human. We bought tomatoes with it. Oh, all right, we bought bandage with it. Oh, cool. And it freed up other money. They always pull this. Hey, look, it was earmarked for X. So if they spent it wrong, we don't know how they did it. Well, they spent it how you told them to, but that freed up other money so that, I don't know, they could kill Jews. By the way, the Iranian, what is he? The Supreme Leader. I love that title. Supreme Leader. Sounds like a fucking G.I. Joe villain. But the Supreme Leader of Iran came out and said, we support this. We need to eradicate the Jews. I'm paraphrasing, but barely. It's on Twitter. He did it on Twitter. He did it on fucking Twitter. And I'm okay with Twitter not deleting it, because Twitter did not delete it. Instead, what they did is they put a warning on it. That's this one here. I need a producer who's faster than me. Here we go. This is the post. God willing, the cancer of the usurper Zionist regime will be eradicated at the hands of the Palestinian people and the resistance forces throughout the region. By the way, the Biden White House came out and said, yeah, it's not clear whether or not the Iranians had anything to do with this. This is the supreme leader of Iran. You think maybe they had a hand in this? Maybe the people who've been funding Hamas for decades might have had a hand in this. The the Jews were caught completely off guard by this. They weren't expecting it. Everybody's calling it an intelligence failure. You think Hamas has the strength, that they have the resources to shock the Jews when it comes to a massive thing like this? Or do you think maybe that comes from a bigger nation state? A nation state that has the capability of shooting down United States drones. That's a thinker. Darth Mondo, thank you so much. Morons keeps saying Palestine was stolen from them. It was Israel in 1209 BC. Palestine did not exist till 1948. Talk about stolen land. The history of that region, I mean, the Jews were there long before the Muslims were, because the Muslims are not that old. And everybody's like, it's the Muslims' land, which is what they're saying when it's the Palestinian. Yeah, it's the Muslims' land. All right, fine. Except for in order to make that argument, you have to accept the argument that they kicked the Jews out of that land to begin with. Oh, we're not supposed to talk. We don't go back that far. No. We only go back to the 1948 Accords, where Britain did kind of screw over the Palestinians, if we're being honest. But it's actually 1947, and then in 48, the Jews declare no independence, and they have the War of Independence, or what the Palestinians called what is it, Nakbu or Nabuk? I forget what it is, but it means catastrophe because the Jews, won. And yeah, I mean, the region has been a shithole for a long time. It's been war torn for a long, long time. But yeah, as far back as we push, I mean, it was the Jews' land. No, it wasn't the Jews, because Muhammad came in and killed all the Jews. I mean, Israel wasn't there. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. This is how land was taken. It's taken by war, and it is what it is. All the nonsense about these poor put upon Palestinians. You literally elected terrorists to represent you. At the time, what was it? In 2006, I think it was, they had 132 seats in their parliament, and they filled 74 of them with people attached to Hamas. That's who these people are. Sin Nikki, thank you. God willing, this is just a regular day with Hamas had a wild hair. Otherwise, it's time to start listening for trumpets. Fair enough. And Ministry of Wrong Thing, thank you. I'm late. How is this different than normal? Because this was a much bigger attack than Hamas has been doing. Typically, what they'll do is just fire rockets into Israel. And this time, they actually came in. They took hostages. They flat murdered people at this fucking peace dance. Goddamn hippies. Maybe this will wake up the young Jews. There's a lot of people over there. We need peace. I understand. You guys are westernized and you think this is how the world works. You are hated by these people that want you dead. And you're over there dancing, oh, we're hippies. And then you're like, shit, my head got blown up. How'd that happen? Well, talk to the people that you're over there. Oh, these are such great people. I think it'll be a wake-up call for the younger generations over there, because this kind of stuff hasn't happened for a while. It's been a while since it's been like this bad. You might got to go back to the 90s for that. This was a major escalation from the kind of stuff they do. And yeah, they fucked around, and they're going to find out, because Netanyahu, of all the people, you didn't do this a couple years ago when Netanyahu wasn't in power for that short time. That would have been your ideal time to do it. I mean, it still would have gotten Netanyahu elected again. You're like, no, let's go after Bibi, who likes bombing us. Oh, so should we go through some of the stuff that's been said on Twitter today about this that annoyed me? Let's start. Thank you. Those that want peace, as I said on Twitter, a dead enemy is a peaceful enemy. That's true. And this is how this has to be looked at. This was an act of war. This is, if you're going to say the Palestine is a country, well, then that country just invaded another country and stole their citizens and murdered and raped them. Oh, and some Germans. This was the first official response that anybody saw of the Biden administration was from the U.S. Office of Palestinian Affairs. It says, "We unequivocally condemn the attack of Hamas terrorists, Palestinians, and the loss of life that has incurred. We urge all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Terror and violence solve nothing." Really? Violence solves nothing. I dare say Hitler would disagree. Mussolini would disagree. Lots of dead leaders who are no longer there because they started wars and we kicked the shit out of them. They would disagree. I fucking hate violence solves nothing. Violence solves a lot of shit. It absolutely does. No, violence. Yeah, yes, it does. Stop it. That's what wars are. Violence solves nothing. Then why are we sending tanks? Sorry, Abrams and all these munitions over to Ukraine? Shouldn't we be telling them, hey, just let it happen. Shh, just let it happen. Corey, thank you so much. I've been to Israel twice. It's kind of scary that this could have happened when I was there. Yeah, the Jews live with this every day. And again, it has gotten a lot better, but it looks like Hamas wants to escalate again. And sure, try that. Now, this was deleted because it's retarded, telling, hey, Jews, don't attack. Don't retaliate. Isn't that some fucked up? That's where you went first. Hey, Jews, don't retaliate. They just literally kidnapped some of your people, literally murdered them, raped some German chick. We don't know if they raped anyone else. Did you guys see there's a lot of videos of this that we can't show on here because, well, I like having a channel. But the chick in the back of the truck, and they're spitting on her, and her legs all bent, fucked up because she's dead, and they don't care. That's what you're dealing with. And you can't go into that like, hey, okay, now we need to have peace. You just can't. No. Everybody just calm down. Just calm down. That's not how you deal with terrorists. You know how you deal with terrorists? You kill them dead. That's it. You make them so afraid of the repercussions that they don't think about doing it. Anyhow, that was the first known official administration response. Don't retaliate. Don't retaliate. It can be horrible if you blow up those fuckers. Yeah, it would be a damn shame to kill terrorists. When did we stop killing terrorists? That's right, because it's Palestine, and for some reason we've got to bug up our ass in this nation, especially on the left and in our media, of protecting terrorists. You'll notice anytime there's this, something pops off, they'll show little Palestinian kids that have been blown to bits, and somehow they're in 4 or 5 pictures in different places, sometimes alive. They never show the actual people who are starting the fighting. They never show the people who are firing the rockets. Frosted Glass, thank you. I guess there's fine people on both sides. Hey, Biden? Indeed. There's fine people on both sides. Who should we look at first? Cori Bush or AOC? I think we should look at, let's do AOC first because, dear fucking Christ. Now, Ilhan Omar has a statement out. I've heard she retracted one, but I didn't see a original, so I don't know if that's true. But her one comment I did see wasn't bad. It was just, I condemn this shit, basically. But Donkey Girl, she had a different take. Because of course she did. Because she's a fucking retard. She said, "Today is devastating for all those seeking a lasting peace and respect for human rights in Israel and Palestine. I condemn Hamas's attack in the strongest possible terms. No child and family should ever endure this kind of violence and fear. And this violence will not solve the ongoing oppression and occupation in the region. An immediate ceasefire and de-escalation is urgently needed to save lives." See, once again, we hear that bullshit. We need a ceasefire. Yeah, the Jews got attacked, and your answer is, no, hey, don't fire, don't shoot them, Don't be mean to them. Don't be mean. Hey, people are going to get hurt. If only you'd said that to the Palestinians 2 days ago. If only 2 days ago you told them, hey, violence solves nothing. Violence solves nothing. Instead, you're out there virtue signaling constantly about how horrible the Jews treat them. The Squad is one of the worst groups of people when it comes to Israeli relations. They really are. Two of them just hate Jews. They're Muslims. Of course, they just hate Jews. That's kind of part and parcel. The others, they're just stupid. I mean, it's not to say that the Arab, sorry, not the Arabs, the Muslims don't or are good for hating Jews, but at least I understand it. You know, that's some biblical shit. That is thousands of years old. Somebody like this who's spent her entire life in suburban America having that hatred of Israel, I just don't get. But again, hey, you guys need to de-escalate. We need to de-escalate. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, Hammer. All right. And then the other one was Cori Bush, which, dear Christ. I am heartbroken by the ongoing violence in Palestine and Israel, and I mourn the over 250 Israeli and 230 Palestinian lives that have been lost today. All right, let's stop there. All right, let's finish your statement. I mourn the over 250 Israeli and 230 Palestinian lives that have been lost today and the thousands injured following the attacks by Hamas militants, Palestinians, on Israel border towns and Israeli military bombardment of Gaza. All right, hold that thought. Black Dynamite, thank you. Humans disgust me. You and me both, man. You and me both. She just compared the Israelis returning fire to the terrorists who just went in there and did what they did. Literally attacked a peace festival. I mean, there is some irony there. But the Israelis are returning fire. I'm heartbroken by those damn terrorists who got killed. Really. The Israelis are actually pretty technologically advanced, partially because they stole some of it from us, and partially because we just sell some of it to them. Israel is firing at where they know these militants are hanging out. They're not just randomly firing into Gaza. They're not just like, all right, blow up everything. They're like, all right, you see where those missiles were fired from? Hit that shit. And she's like, oh my God, they killed the terrorists. I'm heartbroken by those terrorists. Can't wait till we start seeing all the dead Palestinian babies. It happens every time. Every time. Dixie Rose, thank you so much for that feminist donation. I got to load over here. That sounds like I just pooped my pants. I need to load this screen over here so I can read it because it's kind of long. Real quick, Ministry of Wrong Thing, thank you. The whole don't fight back, let it happen against a country that was just attacked is such obvious and textbook propaganda. It isn't even funny. The fact is, it's coming from U.S. officials is wild. It's what I expect anytime there's a conflict between Israel and Palestine. And Grimm's Bar, thank you. Palestine chanting bullets for a bullet. By their metric, they still owe Israel 30 more. And they'll get it, I promise you. Wait, why is this not loading up? I got your donation, Dixie. It's just not loading. There it is. Thank you so much. The Japanese admiral who planned the attack on Pearl Harbor would reportedly write in his diary, I fear all we have done is awoken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve. I think the Palestinians may have done the same thing. Yeah, this escalation of action is just, I don't know what they were thinking. Now, a couple of people I saw some people talking and their ideas that the Palestinians were trying to show that the Jews could be hurt and that their attack would be backed by going back to the old wars of the 40s and the 60s, where you have Egypt and Jordan and I forget all the countries involved. But they would go in there and show and then they would all attack the Jews together. And maybe that's what they were thinking. I have no idea. But if they were thinking that, they should have paid a lot more attention to how politics has changed in the last 4 years. The Abraham Accords really did stir things up over there. I don't know that that's what they're thinking. It makes sense in the idea that if that's what they were thinking, I could see why they would think that. It's just not. It's not the same anymore. You know what I mean? If you did that in maybe the early 80s, maybe the other countries come in and attack Israel. Trying it now, you would have had to have done a lot more damage than this. All right. Anyway, back to Cori Bush's dumbass statement. I strongly condemn the targeting of civilians. I noticed you didn't put by Hamas here. And I urge an immediate ceasefire and de-escalation to prevent further loss of life. Ceasefire and de-escalation. That's what Donkey Girl said. That's what Donkey Girl said. Our immediate focus must be on saving lives, but our ultimate focus must be on a just and lasting peace that ensures the safety of everyone in the region. Violations of human rights do not justify more violation of human rights, and a military response will only exacerbate the suffering of Palestinians and Israelis alike. No, this was an act of war. Retaliating, that's called going to war. What you're saying here is that in Pearl Harbor, we should have been like, oh man, if we strike back, people are going to die. We probably shouldn't do that. Just fuck it. Let the Japanese own the Pacific. It'll be fine. If you apply their logic to any major conflict in history where one side was attacked by the other, and you put this nonsense, hey, what we need to do is just de-escalate and have a ceasefire. If you fight back, it's only going to cause bloodshed. The world would be a very, very different place. But it goes back to that nonsense of violence solves nothing. Violence solves a lot of things. We're just not supposed to say it out loud because we're supposed to be more civilized than that. Violence should be a last resort or a mostly last resort. I say mostly last resort because to me, the last resort is giving in. That would be the last thing I would do. But violence shouldn't be your first answer unless violence has been visited upon you. And they were attacked. And you keep trying to, the Hamas terrorists. Hamas is in their government. Stop acting like this wasn't the Palestinians. Stop acting like they're not in the streets right now chanting about this shit. Happy about it. Yay, kill the Jews. Pretty sure Fuentes is trying to get his Palestinian visa right now. A part of achieving a just and lasting peace, we must do our part to stop the violence and trauma by ending U.S. government support for Israel military occupation and apartheid. It's not apartheid. I am continuing to closely monitor the situation, and my office is ready to support residents of the 1st District with family members and loved ones in the region. How do you put this in the same statement? You're basically blaming the Jews for what happened to them today. Well, yesterday and a half, I guess. You're blaming them like it's their fault. We have to stop what they did that got them blowed up. You're Hassan Piker here. The U.S. deserved 9/11. You're that pastor that, what was that pastor's name that Obama used to go to? Said, Americans' chickens have come home to roost. Talking about 9/11. What's the basis, or on what basis is it not an apartheid? Are the Palestinians the overwhelming number of people in the area? Two things can be true at the same time. True. Two things can be true. And there's also a thing called a time and a place. You don't point and say, hey, look, hey, the Jews did this. It's their fault, which is what she's saying here. How about this? How about I condemn this completely? And then if you have to issue something else, you make another statement about apartheid. You don't put it in the same statement where you're condemning violence and blaming the Israelis for what happened. The Israelis have come to the negotiating table over and over and over and given concession after concession after concession. And every time they do, there ends up being more violence because you do not negotiate with terrorists. Because then they're like, terrorism works. And they turn around and do it again until they get more of what they want. What's up, Jack? How you doing, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just making fun of Cori Bush for her retardedly tone deaf statement on the Palestine-Israel war going on.
God, there have been some really dumb statements come out about this. Did you do the best one, Whitmer's?
I haven't got to Whitmer yet. I was hoping you'd get here so that I could do it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Well, I was like, oh, Monkey's been really active on Twitter. He's gonna drop the link soon. Seems like a good time to fall asleep at the table.
Frosted Glass, thank you. Ceasefire my ass. If we should turn the other way for a moment, then turn back to find half of the Middle East is now glass, and there's a New York-style deli set up where Mecca used to be. I wouldn't be too distressed. Yeah, be careful fucking with the Israelis, man. No, we had not got to Whitmer yet because, like I said, you were the reason that I even saw Whitmer's statement. So I really wanted you to be here because your comment on it was perfect. It was dead on.
Thank you.
Where I gotta find it now. Did I retweet that one? I think I did. I think I did. I know I responded to the idiot.
Oh, she's so dumb.
Anyway, while I'm looking for this, how you doing tonight, man?
Tired. I got kind of a headache. Sinuses are acted up because we had a sudden shift in the weather last night. Like, it got really cold. And I was just like sitting here because it was after the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting here and I was just like, ooh, I feel like crap. Like, it just hit all at once. And it's been throwing me off all day. I've been just super busy on top of that. So, usual shit. Just
I hope you feel better, son.
I'll be fine. I'm just bitching about it,
Dangerous ass half Whitmer. I don't even know if this one gets to half wit.
Yeah.
All right, so here's her original. Now, it should be noted she did make another statement. We'll talk about. I'm not going to read it, but we'll talk about it in a second. This was Governor Whitmer's first statement on what's going on over there. I've been in touch with communities impacted by what happened in the region. It's abhorrent. My heart is with all those impacted. We need peace in this region. And that's it. As you pointed out, Jack, that could apply to almost anywhere at almost any time. Anything happens.
Yep, that could have been anything. I think Jim Helis was the one that pointed out. He's like, "Is she talking about Israel or Detroit?"
Right?
Because it really could apply to either one. Like, this very non-specific thing was a tragedy.
Yeah, she doesn't mention what it is. She doesn't mention where it's at, just the region. It's abhorrent in that region. Are you talking about Ukraine? What are we talking about here? But she got so much shit from this. She did make a more specific statement where she does mention the Middle East. But this is just like horrible.
Template.
Yes. It's like a form letter for tragedy.
Yeah. Like, all right, now you go back and fill in the parts that are specific. It's fucking lazy. This was hideous.
Foreign Native says, we need less bad, monkey. Yes, that's what this is. We need less bad.
Please stop doing the thing which is making others sad. Love the governor.
Yeah. My governor's an idiot. I'm just throwing that out there for anybody who didn't know. How about a little video, Jack?
Oh, wait, is this gonna be dead bodies?
No, we're not watching any of that footage.
Oh God, some of the footage is.
It's
It's been getting yanked all day off Twitter. By the way,
and
if you're looking for video of the horror show that's going on, it's been getting yeeted.
I saw CNN. They're like, we have this video. We're not going to show the really bad parts. Like, why not? You do it when it's the Jews. You show
Yeah.
little blowed up Palestinian kids all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, they hate the Jews. That's
They
why.
do. They absolutely do. All right. So this is Jake Sullivan. Just last week, Jack. He is the
And
he's Biden's national security advisor.
what we said is we want to depressurize, de-escalate, and ultimately integrate the Middle East region. The war in Yemen is in its 19-month of truce. For now, the Iranian attacks against U.S. forces have stopped. Our presence in Iraq is stable. I emphasize for now because all of that can change. And the Middle East region is quieter today than it has been in 2 decades.
You know what that taste is in his mouth? It's a shoe.
Yeah. The Middle East is the quietest it's been in 2 decades. Well, in fairness, a lot of the noise made over there was us in Iraq. Just saying. And of course, the Saudis with Yemen, Syria still a powder keg.
Yeah.
But to come out, hey, the Middle East is the quietest, and then a week later, Hamas is like, hold my hummus.
Right. Well, I mean, it was 3 weeks ago that we gave Iran $6 billion. It takes a little while to dole that much money out.
No. You see, Jack, that money is still in the Qatari bank.
Right. You mean the Qataris who also hate the Jews?
Yeah. This is just some silly shit going on right now. And the Biden administration is so worried about that $6 billion. They've actually been sending out media shills to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. It's pathetic.
I even saw one of the Krasensteins respond to it.
Oh, of course. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. This shit's been going on since long before we were even a fucking country.
Yep.
These fucking politicians are so busy acting like little bitches while banging the war drum. Time to turn the entire Middle East into a tri-night bed and be done with it all. Yep. Yeah, the whole thing should just be glass at this point. These are regional warlords duking it out like they've been doing for thousands of years. They're stuck in the 8th century. Their entire mindset is barbarism and war. So fuck all of these people. It's just going to drag us in there more and more because for some stupid reason we don't want to produce our own energy. And the less we have to do with the Middle East, the better off we are. I'm done.
No, I hear you. But when it comes to this fight, I hear you about the regional warlords and stuff. Israel's not that country anymore. This is a westernized country, and they are dealing with what we would call here Muslim extremists.
Yeah, I get that.
And the rest of the Middle East is coming around. They're like, oh, wait, if we trade with the Jews, we get rich too?
Yeah, well, the Saudis stabbed him in the back today.
Oh, what did the Saudis do? I didn't even see.
Oh, they blamed Israel. They said, they said the Israelis were escalating this.
Yeah, that's because they fired back, and we see all these fucking people being like, "You need to de-escalate." No. The de-escalation the Jews need to do here is to kill the terrorists.
Yeah,
which people don't like to hear this. That's the Palestinians.
Absolutely true, and the Palestinians. Not a real thing. Sorry.
Well, this is why, as I've been talking, I've been very clear that this is Palestine, not Hamas. Like Hamas is somehow separate from them. Literally voted them to be the most powerful party at one point. I don't know if they still are, but they are in their politics. They're in their assembly or whatever they call it over there. Hamas is not just some random terrorist group that's not part of anything, doing their own thing. No, they're not. They are actually there. They've been voted in by the people to rule them.
Yeah. Oh, well, the Palestinian Authority has been around for a while, but
Well, the
this is
Palestinian Authority is just the PLO, which is a
Yeah.
terrorist group.
Yeah, for a while they were trying to look secular, and in the 90s things got a little wild again. And Bill Clinton basically negotiated a deal where the Palestinian Authority got everything they wanted, everything,
Yep.
and they were still like, no, we'd rather just blow up the Jews.
The Israelis have bent over backwards for these guys, and this is the lesson. Stop negotiating with terrorists.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's not a successful strategy. You cannot negotiate with people that think you're vermin that should be wiped off the planet.
Here, let's say Iran has not spent that $6 billion yet, right?
Sure, let's talk about ferries next too.
How did they get that money unfrozen?
It was with the caveman lawyer.
They promised to give back 5 American hostages. What did we just see Hamas do?
Took a bunch of hostages.
Huh. It's almost like negotiating with terrorists sends a bad signal across the world.
What?
Anyhow.
Yeah, you mean others will come along and think that that's a successful tactic?
Yeah.
What? You would think the hippies in our State Department would have figured that out years ago.
I want to share with you my favorite thing I saw today. One of the dumbest takes I've ever seen on Twitter ever. Do you want to see the real face of terrorism? Another video I found from 2021 where Israeli armed forces were tear gassing innocent worshipers during Ramadan while the whole Western media was silent. One, the Western media wasn't silent about that. Two, this was a protest that was going on at one point that was, hey, you guys need to disperse, and they didn't. So they fired tear gas in there. But more importantly, they're saying the real face of terrorism is tear gas, not the guys who are raping, murdering, and kidnapping people.
Oh, wow. Did Antifa put this statement out?
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
surprise sex. It's not rape.
What the hell are you talking about? Do you think the dead Israelis would have rather been tear gassed, or do you think they're happy they're dead?
Right?
I know the real terrorism is tear gas. Fuck off.
Because it makes you cry.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Anything else you want to say? I've been talking about Israel for about 40 minutes now. So
this whole thing is dumb, and the Hamas is kind of stupid for doing it because they're gonna get spanked. The Israelis are gonna go out full force on this. They're not gonna put up with this shit. I have no doubt that they have quite a lot of new weaponry and new equipment and tactics that they're dying to use. They obviously bought a lot of rockets, like the paragliders.
Yeah,
that was a pretty intriguing method. I thought, wow, Red Dawn. Wow, somebody watched Red Dawn on VHS. So, but obviously they spent some money on this. That stuff's not that cheap. But I think the Israelis are going to push back really hard on this, and it's going to be pretty fucking messy. So there was an intelligence failure on the Israelis' part for not catching this. This should have been something that the IDF caught. I'm sorry. But that's unfortunately something that happens a lot in the world, is your intelligence can never be perfect. The Egyptians did warn the Israelis that Hezbollah might join the fight from Lebanon. And there was some other group that was said that they might join the fight as well, probably another Hezbollah group. So it could get messier, but the Israelis have proven through the 7-day war that they can fight in multiple fronts. But I think this is going to be kind of dark and messy, and I blame you for sleeping.
Yeah, thinking back, because I was awake when this happened. I think I was actually asleep when it started.
Yep.
And then today I took a 10-hour nap.
Yep.
I crawled into bed and put my big old comforter on top of me. It's not a weighted blanket, but the way I fold it, it feels. And oh God, you ever sleep under that? Oh.
Yeah. It's a comfy experience. And what did I say? If you sleep over 8 hours, you might start World War III. And sure enough, look what fucking happens. They're all going to be assembled on the hill at Megiddo. There's going to be some blood in the oceans. Giant monsters are going to come crawling out. It's going to be a nightmare.
I was tired and sore. I needed sleep. Guys, I didn't talk about this at the top of the show, which is probably where it belongs, but I did go to my eye doctor. He looked deep into my eye, Jack, with cameras and shit.
Oh, not just lovingly? Like
No, not lovingly at all. He was kind of aloof, actually. But, well, he's a specialist. And as we talk, the more specialized they get, the more autistic they seem to be.
Well, the more specialized, the more special.
Yeah. But he did look in my eye. He says he doesn't think I need like an MRI or anything on my eye or brain. He thinks it's just the optic nerve has just got damaged, kind of from high blood pressure, from being a diabetic. That it should come back. That my eyesight should come back. It'll never be as good as it was, but to where it clears up some. I've lost about 25% of my vision in that eye. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more. But it should come back mostly. I got to get some blood work done, and I got to start taking aspirin every day. I was taking aspirin every day, and then the cardiologist said, no, you didn't have a heart attack. You don't have to take that anymore. And now this guy's like, no, you need to take aspirin again. Whatever. But yeah, so my eye is hopefully not bad. If it gets worse or if the blood test shows something, they might send me in for an MRI to see, hey, does he have brain cancer?
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern, but right now he's not real concerned about my eyes. So that's a good thing. When you go see the specialist, then it's not that big of a deal. He was training somebody, Jack, and the guy he's training is like, he goes, what do you think should be done? He goes, we should MRI his brain. And he's like, why? He goes, it might be cancer. Like, I'm sorry, we need to stop right here for a minute. What? And the doctor's like, nah, it's probably not that. So
I won't worry too much about that. Unless you forget this entire conversation, then we should do it.
Then we need to see something. Yeah. But my eye, it's not as bad as I was worried about, according to the doc. So that's a good thing. But we did spend quite a bit of time in Grand Rapids that day, and we went shopping at 2 different stores. We walked around a lot, and my hips are mad. They're like, fat man, stop moving. I'm like, but I have to stay healthy.
And they're like, we miss our chair.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't do a show yesterday. I was just so beat up, man.
Yeah, I went out and cut small trees down.
Ooh.
So I get how you feel. It was exciting stuff. I slept really good that night for like 3 hours, and then had to get up again. But no, I understand you were tired, but you got to realize that you have an impact on the world when you do that. Your superpower is very malicious.
That's fair. That's fair. I it's not my fault that I was saddled with this superpower of destroying the world.
I know, but in this timeline of things going wrong, you have to learn to use that power for good. It's like remote viewing. Some people do it to find nuclear secrets. You should be using it to spy on people in the shower.
I don't know how to direct it, though.
Well, you see, you need to find Professor X.
I guess. Sorry. After all that sleep, I'm here yawning. I'm only yawning because we're talking about me, and that subject bores me. Palestinian husband. Oh, I should probably read this Palestinian husband, thank you. I'm a simple okay, I think this is a real person and not somebody who's being a jokester.
No.
So got to be careful with those. Palestinian husband, thank you so very much. I'm a simple Palestinian man, happily married to his Israeli-born wife. Her name is Gazelle, like the deer. Lately, she started shaving her lady bits, leaving a small, thin patch of hair for extra sensation. I love being inside her Gaza Strip. That could have gone a lot worse. Thank you. Yo. That sounds Shio-ish, and if it's not him, whoever it was, I apologize for giving him credit.
It does sound like Shio.
That does sound like Shio. All right. Jack, let's move along. The other day, Joseph Biden, getting all the shit he has been about the invasion at our border, came out and he's like, look, we got to build 20 feet of wall. Or 20 miles of wall, sorry, 20 miles.
She was like, the fuck did I do?
20. Who was it then? I'm telling you, it was Shio. 20 miles of wall. We have to do it because the funding, that's what it was appropriated for. We got to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't think walls work. I live in the outdoors in a tent, not in a giant house with a giant fence around it. Oh, wait, no.
It's 20 miles. It's not going to do shit. They're going to go a little ways down the road. So they're going to go to Laredo. Good job, dipshit. Way to protest that.
Our favorite donkey, we read her statement about the Palestinians. Here's what she had to say about the wall. The Biden administration was not required to expand construction of the border wall. Legally, they were, actually. That's what the money was for. And they certainly were not required to waive several environmental laws to expedite the building. This is another way that they've tried to get around the wall being built, is it could disrupt the environment. You mean the sand?
I mean, like the criminal migrants do, and they break into our country and leave trash everywhere.
Shit all over the place. Yeah. No. That's not the problem. It's a wall being built there. The president needs to take responsibility for this decision and reverse course. A wall does nothing to deter people who are fleeing poverty and violence from coming to the United States. You do not risk your life or your children's lives going through the Darien Gap or traversing hundreds of miles of desert if you have any other options. Walls only serve to push migrants into more remote areas, increasing their chance of death. It's a cruel policy.
Is it wrong at this point to say good?
No, I'm with you. Instead, the U.S. must take examining the route of migration more seriously, illegal alien migration, re-examine policy towards Latin America, and stop contributing to the destabilization that drives migration, as Senator Marco Rubio's Venezuela sanctions have done. I wonder how she feels about the sanctions against Russia. We also have to finally invest in meaningful immigration reform. Have I mentioned how dumb this bitch is?
Maybe.
Okay, let's take her, what she said here. It only makes them walk further down, right? Well, what happens if we complete the wall all the way across? There's no further down to walk. She just said walls work.
Well, she's sort of implying that the people from Latin American areas are like lemmings. They'll just walk right in the ocean and drown. Build the wall. Build the wall. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I had some kind of random thought there. I don't know.
Okay, I have a serious question for you.
I'm probably not giving you a serious answer.
If walls don't work, why do they have to walk around it?
Because they ran out of Mexican jumping beans?
This donkey is dumb as shit. I know a lot of people find her hot, and if you want to bang her, okay. But if you vote for her, you're a retard.
Oh, God, yeah. She's dumb. And then I think quite often disingenuous. Like, she plays up her stupid. But, yeah, she did flat out say that walls don't work.
And then said they did.
Yeah. She's not real sharp.
Stephen Miller was having fun making pictures of her yesterday.
Yeah. I love that guy. He's hilarious.
Oh, I love Stephen, man. I disagree with him time to time. He goes a little too hard against some things. But I love this one. AOC crying as the Statue of Liberty is one of my favorite things ever. But yeah, her idea is that walls don't work because people would have to walk around them to get in here.
Yeah,
Well,
they'd
then,
have to walk around. They'd have to walk a little further to break in and steal all our stuff.
how about, and I'm just throwing this out there, complete the wall. There's no way to walk around. They can go the fuck back home.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or maybe the wall will discourage them from trying to come in.
Peter says if walls don't work, why do they have one around the White House? Not just one around the White House. The White House itself made of walls.
Yeah, it's true.
It's floor, ceiling, and walls.
It should be an open air veranda.
All of these people who tell you that walls don't work, ask them if they live in a tent. And even a tent is technically a barrier that's a wall-like thing. So ask them if they just sleep on the ground with all their shit around them.
Yeah. I think the White House should be one giant gazebo.
Thank you, Mighty Balzac. Trump's campaign slogan, told you so. Yeah, that'd be a good one. It really would.
He really did call it. I mean,
Mess says because it was a fence. Well, the wall that they're building, you could classify as a fence. I mean, it's got holes in it and shit. It's just really tall. It's a really big fence. And not chain link like at your house. What else did I have that I wanted to talk about? Don't really care about that. Don't care about that. Garapy's still out there. Last I saw. Did you see his video that he went on that? I forget the name of it. The Crucible.
Yeah, I have it queued up. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I only watched about half of it. It's disturbing still. I mean, look, again, it may be that he's just autistic. We're talking about Jean-Francois Garapy and his missing woman. Because reportedly she was seen 2 days later, Jack, which ironically is the last time she texted anybody. And I have electronic signature. I was away from home. Sure you do. But she was supposedly seen on the 19th, and he's like, see, that proves I didn't kill her. Not really. Really?
Yeah, not so much. Somebody that randomly looked like a retarded bag lady got cited somewhere. Sorry, dude, that's not evidence at all.
Wait, is Skep talk here? Skep, I sang to you the other day, man. Oh, there he is. How you doing, man?
Hey, Skep.
JF, the never-ending drama. He's a weirdo. We haven't talked about him in a long time, but his missing girlfriend, that's just weird. And the way he's responded to it is even weirder.
Yeah.
The court officially dismissed the false accusations made by the Tate brothers, who claim that two of their alleged victims framed them and lied to the prosecutors. Whoopsie.
Whoops.
Yep, they had their suit thrown out because, well, it was nonsensical. Good luck in Romania.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Okay, I do want to talk about this. I don't have. I have the link.
Did you mention Andrew Tate's seeming supportive link of this?
No, for his support for Hamas.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. He put out a tweet that said, "Allah commands justice." I did respond to it. I said, "So does Romania," but I didn't talk about it on here. Because that all I want to see from him is prison time. Hi, King Frenor, thank you again. What's Canada's statement about Israel? Because of recent parliamentary events. I haven't seen an official statement from Canada. I haven't seen Trudeau come out with anything, or the Canadian government. There's some groups within Canada that are supporting the Palestinians.
Yeah, one of their big public sector unions is having a rally.
Yeah, they're called COOP. I forget what it stands for.
Canadian Union of Public Official or Employees.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it, but they're Canadian, so nobody pays attention to them. Except when they're, cheering on Nazis.
Yeah, well, I mean, celebrate Nazis. Why won't they celebrate Hamas?
I just threw a link into chat, Jack. It's for one of the reaction channels I watch. It's It's the one I watched the most. Is called Rob Squad Productions, and they were reacting to the In Vogue video. Shit, I forget the name of it. That was anticlimactic. What's the name of it? Free Your Mind. Do you remember that song?
Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
From a long, long time ago, from our generation, Jack.
Yeah, in the before times when times were good.
The chorus actually says, "Free your mind, the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow." Saying that today would get you called a racist.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this, and they stopped to talk during part of it. And Amber, the girl on the show, she says she was surprised to find that when it comes to things like racial unity and stuff, that our generation, Jack, would teach her so much. And that statement hurt me. Because I'm like, wait, it is a damn shame that that's where we are in race relations, that kids who are educated after us have to be taught colorblindness from songs we grew up with.
Yeah.
Like, hey, be colorblind. Don't be shallow and look at people just based on the color of their skin. That is a new concept for people that were educated after us. King gave a speech in the 60s, for fuck's sake. 60 years ago. And they're like, we're just finding this out. What the fuck have we done to this world? How did we go backwards so far?
Communism.
When that song came out, it wasn't all that controversial because it was stuff that was, yeah, of course. Yes, be colorblind. Treat people like people. How you dress and act is not necessarily, how you dress and how you look is not necessarily who you are. And now we're like, that's all that matters. Did you see my blue hair? I'm special. We have to fix this shit. I mentioned this before. When we were in the late 80s, we were so close. Racial harmony was almost there. And then they were like, no, what we really need to do is judge black people based on the color of their skin, you see? You see, if you look at the black people, you can tell all of their history just by the color of their skin. It is amazing how the racists and the progressives are in lockstep.
Always were.
It really did. When she said that, it just blew my fucking mind because I'm like, she's probably right. That this generation, the millennials and the Zs, would have to be taught to be colorblind because they've been taught that that's racist.
Yeah, well, it's the progressivism seeping into everything like an infection.
Oh, it's distressing to me.
It should be.
We should
remember Woodrow Wilson was the first progressive president.
Yeah,
and he watched
oh shit, what's the name of that movie?
Fuck, I totally just drew a blank on it. The Ku Klux Klan film in the White House.
Shit,
I can't Lightning in a Bottle.
I know the name of it. I just can't think of it.
I keep wanting to say The Hidden Empire, and I know that's not right.
Chat, help us out with that.
Based on the book The Klansman.
Something Nation, right?
Yeah, Birth of a Nation.
There it is. Birth of a Nation.
Jesus.
Thank you.
I don't know how we both forgot that, but
I knew Nation and I couldn't put the rest of it together.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt was definitely leaning progressive. He probably was the first progressive president, but Woodrow Wilson embraced the whole mentality of the government bureaucracy. One of his favorite books was about this guy that was a mid-level bureaucrat and how the bureaucrats took over everything and made it very organized. It was this really boring book. I've read part of it. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. But he really created the bureaucracy state that we have now.
It's just disturbing to me that people have just embraced this nonsense. it bothers me greatly.
As it
Just
should.
we shouldn't even be talking about race stuff anymore. You know, if something pops up, we squash it down. But there's no reason for us to be talking about it anymore. It should be over with. And instead, yeah, all these fucking assholes got to make their money. Got to teach people that you got to hate somebody because of the color of their skin, or they should hate you because of the color of your skin, is actually how they preach it these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, don't care about that. Go
But
ahead.
you know, because you did mention money, this is a good time to remind everybody we're brought to you by you. Please hit the like button, share it on your social media, subscribe if you haven't, tell your friends, and if you're feeling generous, you can toss a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link in the description, pinned at the top of the YouTube chat, and occasionally go through chat.
Skep says wokeistry is just applied narcissism. It's communism that preys on narcissism. Because that's what it all is. It all comes back to what modern communists are selling people. It really is. We all need to have equity. Fuck you. You want equity? Buy a house. How many people get that joke?
Yeah, just the homeowners and everybody over 30.
That's a financial joke.
Look at
I'm
you.
I'm funny. All right. I want to talk about Hassan Abi because why not? That's Hassan Piker, for those of you who don't follow him on X, who don't know that X is now Twitter. Anyhow, Keldrick, thank you. Woodrow Wilson did irreparable damage to the United States on a level unparalleled by other modern presidents. Thank you, Keldrick. I would disagree slightly. I think FDR did a lot more damage. He might have kicked it off, but FDR is the one who really fucked us.
Well, FDR built on the foundation stones that Woodrow Wilson put in place.
True. But when it comes to who actually did the damage, I blame FDR. Just saying. Anyhow, so Jack, Senator Scott Wiener out there in California was mad. He said the governors vetoed our bill to cap insulin copays at $35 a month, SB 90. That's the bill. People are choosing between paying for insulin and buying food. Didn't think about anything to lower food costs, huh? The veto is missed opportunity to ensure people can afford their medicine. And Hassan Abi, Mr. Hassan Piker, says, I hate this fucking asshole so much, talking about Newsom, consistently to the right of his own state legislature. Why isn't there more coverage on this? Damn it, he's going to make me defend Gavin Newsom.
Yep. That right-winger.
Here's what happened in California with this insulin thing. Yes, it was voted through the state legislature. I think it even passed with 100% of the vote. And he struck it down. He vetoed it because California is getting ready to produce their own insulin. By the way, bad idea to have government out there in your what we're talking that's communism. You're taking over private sector shit right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they're going to have insulin. It's going to be $30 for, I forget the dosages, but they're going to have two things you can buy. One is for $30 and one is for $50 or $55. The $55 one, if I remember correctly, is 3 times the amount of the $30 one. You with me so far?
Uh-huh.
So they're just going to make it and sell it cheap. And what he said about SB 90 is that when you do that and you make, insulin can only cost $35. What the insurance companies will do, all right, well, we got to make up that money somehow. We'll just move it to other drugs, other treatments. And so he said, this is just going to spread it out rather than actually lower cost. I don't understand how the state takeover of the insulin production is in any way right wing.
Well, they're just going to have to seize the insurance companies now.
Thank you, Alan, who says, Monkey. How you doing, Alan? Hope you're well tonight.
Hi, Alan.
Producing your own insulin isn't for rookies. I agree, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, they have laboratories. Ro-
Go ahead.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. For one of my film classes in college, we were assigned to watch Birth of a Nation. Since it's silent anyway, I checked if it syncs up with The Wall. Not quite Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon, but still uncanny. That I never thought of that. But yeah, I'm sure there's something it'll sync up with. You could probably find some old white nationalist songs it'll sync up with.
Probably. I just love that Hassan is mad that Gavin Newsom is too right wing. He's not right wing by any measure, but like he's right of his own legislature. All that tells me is that we probably need to expel that legislature from our country.
Yeah, they're probably Venezuelan lovers.
Just kick them the fuck out. Be like, nah, we're good, bro. You're a traitor to our cause. Get the fuck out. And before you about, hey, you can't do that. Fuck you. I don't like communists. They can get the fuck out.
No, they're not real people.
No, they're not. And fuck them. Speaking of not real people, you see how many people are upset that there's the possibility that in Florida, if you rape a child under 12, you could get the death penalty.
There were an inordinate amount of people that were upset by that. Like, why are you guys pro-child rapers? Huh?
I think we know.
I think we know, too. But YouTube gets all bitchy when we're, like, bitching about the pedos.
I'm going to toss Skep the link. We haven't talked to Skep Talk in a long, long time. Skep, you don't have to take it if you don't want to, because, of course, we never pressure people here. Where is he?
We pressure people all the time. What are you talking about?
Not to come on the show.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so if you'd like to hang out, the link should be in your DMs. Go ahead, bud.
Thank you, Alan, for that generous donation. He says, hello, Jack. Hi, Alan. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well.
We need to talk about the Trump case going on in New York, because we talked about it a little bit the other day. But there was part of the story we missed, and that's on me because I had read about it. But I'm very curious what's going on. So the other day there's a guy on the stand. I forget his name. Holy shit. Let me find his name. I don't want to be this person anymore, Jack. What the hell's his name? I don't care. Anyhow, so he's on the stand being questioned, and the judge gets mad that he's being the defense is questioning this witness. And talks about how questioning the witness is wasting the court's time.
Yeah, we did talk about this because he slammed his hands down on the table.
Did we?
Yeah, briefly. Hey, Skep.
What's up, Skep?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good. Just getting a little bit of an echo.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I forgot to turn the listen page down. I just got it muted.
Okay, there we go.
Disappeared
How you
now.
been, my friend? It's been a long time.
It has. It's great to talk to you. You know, I just retired from streaming. Last Tuesday was my last show.
What?
I did not know that.
Just as a regular streamer, I'll still be picking up emergency stuff, or I may do a onesie and twosie with Minions, and I also might do a little bit of an independent streaming with Harry. So, there's a few possibilities going on. This is not really a retirement, more like a restructuring.
Fair enough. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. 71 years young. I was explaining to someone who simply would not believe that I exited the United States Navy in 1979.
Good God, man. I was 4 years old.
Yeah, I was actually, I went to Officer Kennedy School and started in August of 1974. And how old were you then?
I wasn't born in 74.
I know. You hadn't even been conceived. That is
Jack
so funny.
was.
Yeah, I was alive, but barely.
Real quick, let me get this. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. I find that people saying the bill in Florida will affect the trans and gay community greatly. What an odd thing to say. I am still catching a little bit of echo.
Echo from me.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
Just
if it goes
a tad.
away, See if it goes away when I mute.
All right. Yep, it's gone.
Okay, I'll fix this. Hang on.
But yeah, to your point there, this is where the activists really are hurting and why the LGB needs to break away from the T. This is where they're really hurting them, is that every time there's something where it's like, all right, we got to stop pedophiles. You see this trans activist community step up and go, why do you hate trans people?
Think we just established why.
Yeah, there's no reason that you should be, if you're not a pedophile, you should not be worried that, a bill that lets you put pedophiles to death is going to hurt you. I mean, I'm not wrong on that, am I?
No.
Now wait, you're coming out against the bill that allows them to put pedophiles to death.
I'm not. They
No,
are.
They are. Where do you stand on it?
I don't know. If I'm just being completely honest, I don't know that death is I've typically been for the notion that death is reserved for those who murder.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to harming children, I get my emotions are involved. I can't separate them.
I understand that. The way a simplifying thing that I try and do when it comes to something like this is say, well, what's really going on here? Well, when we sentence someone like this, whether we sentence them to life imprisonment, 20 years imprisonment, or sentence them to death, we're saying we're throwing your life away. We're going to expensively keep you for a while, and then we'll kill you, or maybe you'll die on your own, whatever. But we're throwing your life away. And so, in terms of that, it probably doesn't matter, except in terms of erosion of rights and protections against what the state can do to anybody. And that's kind of a philosophical thing, a very fundamental philosophical thing. Do you think the state ever has the right to kill anybody?
Like I said, I do when it comes to somebody who's murdered somebody, and we know, and this is where it gets kind of convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know they did it.
Right.
We have them on camera and they killed somebody. Fuck it. I don't care. Fry them, throw them off a building, shoot them out of a cannon. I do not give a shit. You murdered somebody. Okay. Fuck you.
Yeah.
With something like this, I would much prefer actual life in prison. No possibility for parole. You just go live in a box for the rest of your life so kids are safe from you. I understand the mentality of wood chipper and everything because, again, emotionally, that's where I'm at.
Right. Well,
you hurt a child, and we won't even talk about kids who get hurt on this show. If we're reading a story about it and it gets too graphic, it starts telling us what actually happened. We won't read it. We stop right there. I'm like, no,
Exactly.
I get angry.
You stop. I cross that line constantly. So
we don't. It's still there. There've been times I'm like, we're done.
Yeah.
Nope, we're done.
Real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Did you see they're trying to seize Trump's properties at vastly reduced prices? They estimate his properties to be. So not only are they trying to steal his stuff, they're trying to steal more than they would be possible otherwise. Yeah, they're trying to cancel his business permits too. I have an article on that if we get to it.
That case going on against Trump is it's asinine. And this judge,
are you talking about the New York case?
Yeah, the New York civil case.
Yeah, the civil case, right?
That Letitia James brought up. And it's like he doesn't get a jury trial, yelling at him because why are you playing to a jury?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be asking why we can't listen to this guy? Why they can't question?
She's a political hack.
She is a political hack. It's kind of seeming like this judge might be too.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this judge doesn't give a shit. Wants to be the interesting guy at the cocktail parties. He's been a nerd his whole life. He never got the girls, and even when he got the girls 4 years later, he just had to buy him a house and a lawyer.
That's a great way to put it.
I mean, you know, that's he finally gets a camera on him, you know, and he's mugging for the camera, and he now he gets to be the star at those Upper East End cocktail parties, and oh yes, you know, he's presiding over the Trump thing. He's trying to take all his stuff away from him. Yeah, he's just a liberal darling, and it's pukingly sick to watch, sick making to watch. Bad stuff.
Yeah,
This
here's
is
the
bad
story
stuff.
Jack brought. Breaking: New York appellate judge smacks down far left judge. Engoron pauses dissolving Trump organization. So this goes back, guys. We didn't talk about this part in depth. With the judge declaring that Trump had committed fraud, they're like, now we can take his shit. Before the trial's even over, by the way.
Yeah.
Trial's not done.
Real fast, Monkey. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. The one solid argument I have against the bill is that it increases the prevalence of these monsters killing the child, since they're going to die either way. It's tenuous. Pedos don't tend to do that very often, so they're more likely, you know, if they're going to kill the kid, they're going to kill the kid. But
Yeah.
the average pedophile isn't going to kill the kid. So I don't think that would really increase that. But I'm of the opinion that since you can't change them, they're just soulless blights on society. So I don't really have a problem either way with it.
Yeah, like I said, I understand that point of view. I'm with you. I don't think that any of these pedophiles that they're going to be out there and be like, since I'm banging this kid, I could die for it anyway. Might as well kill him. I don't think. I mean, it takes a whole different mentality to murder somebody.
Yeah.
So
somebody that does kill the kid was hardwired or predisposed to that anyway. They were probably going to kill the kid to begin with.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it. Thank you, Dark.
Back to our story here. The New York appellate judge on Friday smacked down a far-left judge, Arthur Engoron, and paused his order to dissolve Trump's organization. Last week, Judge Engoron issued an order to rescind Trump's business licenses as punishment in Letitia James's civil lawsuit. I can't do it. I cannot say Letitia. AP, you son of a bitch.
Letitia.
Engoron effectively ordered the dissolution of Trump organization, and that is true. Again, before the trial is done.
Yo, he's guilty of something. We're going to take all his stuff.
Engoron ordered that some of Trump's business licenses be rescinded as punishment, making it difficult or impossible for them to do business in New York, and said he would continue to have an independent monitor oversee Trump's organization's operations. The AP, not the one I was talking about a minute ago. This is the Associated Press, reported last week. If not successfully appealed, the order would strip Trump of his authority to make any strategic and financial decisions over some of his key properties in the state. Last week, Trump said his civil rights were violated after Engoron issued the order. My civil rights have been violated, and some appellate court, whether federal or state, must reverse this horrible, un-American decision. And yeah, they're gonna. The appellate division. Go ahead, bud.
No, this thing is going to get overturned so fast it will make your head spin. This is defective law. This is defective law. It's being spun out right here.
Yeah, this is what the communists did. Like, we're going to have a show trial and take all your shit.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. What this is, it is reminiscent of the old communist show trials, or before that, the German show trials that they would have for people insufficiently enthusiastic about the Third Reich. That, you know, this has a long and distinguished history of putting someone up in front of the public saying, this person is bad, that's why we're putting him in front of a firing squad. That's all that's going on here.
It absolutely is. And it is sad to me to think that he'd probably get a fairer trial with a New York jury than with this judge.
Oh, he's already guilty with this judge. This judge he's already polishing his sentencing speech, his sentencing sermon, and it will be a sermon, trust me.
Oh, yeah. They're going through the most. This is why he gets up there and gets so mad about them questioning this witness. Why are you wasting my time? This was relevant testimony. They're talking about how this guy just the basics for the audience here. This guy was involved with the Trump organization and how they did their calculations. And the defense is trying to point out that he's only ever talking about it in certain circumstances and only in the government's approved narrative. And they're trying to be like, how come you didn't do the same thing here, 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 here? And the judge's like, why are you wasting our time?
Yeah, because it was nuanced and needed elaboration for the purposes of putting it on the record for appeal.
Well,
That's why.
This judge is doing and making decisions to me that seem arbitrarily prejudiced in favor of one side over the other. So
no, it's not
badly
arbitrary.
that this is I'm using arbitrary, meaning that he's not using good judicial judgment to come to his conclusions. He's already made up his mind that one side is going to win, and it is amounting to him making decisions that an appellate group could look at and say, we've got to recommend this guy over. We've got to recommend him back to the bar, potentially for judicial misconduct.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a thing. Yes, it is absolutely, or it could be malfeasance. It just certainly is a failure of. He has a duty of care to recuse himself if he can't be a fair judge. If for whatever reason his judgment is compromised, he is obligated by every bar standard in the United States to recuse himself. And he has not only not done that, but has mugged for the cameras as he turns this thing into a Star Chamber procedure that is, it's one of the things we tried to get away from in England. It's one of the reasons the revolution happened, for God's sake.
Dangerous asks a great question. He says, can they save us time and just see if Trump will sink or float?
It's kind of cutting to it, isn't it?
It really is. The appellate division stayed Engoron's order on Friday. Judge Peter Moulton Friday afternoon halted the order to dissolve Trump organization after 5 days of Letitia James's, hey, I did it right, Stalinistic show trial. We're reading the Gateway Pundit, guys. That's why they actually mentioned this is Stalinistic. The judge, however, declined to pause the fraud trial. There we go. I just wanted to get that part out so people knew what happened.
The pundit's getting better, by the way, as far as quality of journalism.
I've liked the Gateway Pundit since way back in the day when I was in the blogosphere. He's very biased, but that's why I pointed out that he is very biased to his side. He's not like, let's be open-minded about this stuff.
Oh, no. He's you definitely get one narrative, but you get an honest product with this guy.
Oh, yeah, it's his honest opinion. I'll take an honest opinion over a liar any day. Sorry, Jack.
I'm with you.
To be fair, I had a lot of trouble finding a news source that actually covered this because a lot of people are not covering it, even mainstream media. This is the second time they went to the appellate division to overturn a decision this dumbass made.
Yeah. The first one being 80% of the charges.
Yeah, the statute of limitations.
Letitia James is not doing herself any favors here. And she's not the one directly prosecuting the case. I forget the guy's name who's doing the grunt work on this, but it did come from her office, and fuck her for this stupid ass case.
Well, she had to sign off on a lot of this stuff, and this judge he's a piece of work. He's one of those camera hounds who probably wants to have his own Judge Judy show. He looks a lot like the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm. If that guy was a heroin addict.
He reminds me of the creepy guy from Poltergeist 3.
Oh, yeah, the preacher.
Yeah. He's a weird looking dude. I'll put him on the screen for those of you who are like, who does he look like? There he is. The whole thing. It's a show trial. We all know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows all of these trials are show trials.
That's what a lifetime of veganism will get you right there.
There you go.
Unfortunately, this is what happens when you have people in the law enforcement and judiciary that want to make a name for themselves, and they've already decided that you're a bad person and should be punished.
Right.
Yes.
That's not how things are supposed to work here.
Well, did you see? Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you see the decision out of? I think it's the Georgia case where the judge is like, I don't need to recuse. No, it's the January 6th case. I'm sorry. I don't need to recuse myself. It doesn't matter that I basically said Donald Trump belongs in jail. Because I was just answering what the other people who had come before me had said.
Right.
Wow. What a
So she's not
curvy
recusing
lie.
herself, despite the fact her one statement is something to the effect of even though there's other people involved who probably belong in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, because they said they did it because of Donald Trump. I'm like, okay, that may be true. And what you should say is you can't blame other people for your actions. You don't need to say somebody else is guilty.
No, we need to go arrest Jodie Foster because that guy shot the President Reagan because he wanted to impress her. Yeah. Ergo, she's the mastermind, right?
It's
That's how this works.
It's her fault. Yeah, so she's not recusing herself, so that should be an interesting trial as well. She claims she can be fair.
They all
sure
do.
You can. Sure you can.
Her
order, I forget how long it is. I went and read it. It is boring as fuck, and she just repeats over and over, I'm not really biased. I'm not really biased.
The thing that concerns me the most about some of this stuff is that I can't conceive of this happening in the 1970s. This could not have happened. Lawyers still cared about ethics to an extent.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, and I mean they're always self-serving, but if a judge acted this way, they'd have a recall vote going the next day. It would be in the newspaper. About one day later, they'd be pulling this guy out of office. He'd be disbarred. Nowadays, this just passes for normal, and it really reflects not just a cultural degeneration, although that's legitimate and real, but not just that cultural degeneration that wokeistry seems to have foisted upon us, but a real degeneration in the respect for the tenets and canons of law that hold it together. That system of ethics that supposedly ideally govern the behavior of lawyers in the courtroom so that everybody gets the same treatment. That's what I'm trying to say.
In two of these cases, the Alvin Bragg one and the January 6th one from Jack Smith, in both of those, they've told us they've had to bend the law to bring the case.
Who
the law? When the fuck did that become okay? They had to get creative.
Yeah,
what?
We're the nation that says, no, we're going to let 10 people go free rather than imprison one innocent person.
Oh, not anymore. Not anymore.
What? No, but ideally, that's when we set up, when we first set up, and I was there, we said that, that's the way our system of jurisprudence is going to work. There is, think about those people back then. There's no way they would be oriented toward hunting up a charge to hang on somebody, something that fit them just so that they could knock down their political aspirations.
And I hear you, but if you look at things like conspiracy and RICO, they've basically been doing it. I mean, RICO is conspiracy, guys, but they'll get you on other conspiracy besides
the racketeering.
RICO. Yeah, they'll get you on this. They've been doing this shit, throwing extra charges forever. This is the first time though that I've seen them go like in the case of the January 6th one. The logic behind being able to bring it against Trump is that he violated people's voting rights.
Yeah, no, stop. That is such a stretch, and it's just a willful lynching.
Hang on,
basically.
Real quick,
but
Jack, will you take over for 1 second? I got to get a drink.
Okay.
No, but what Monkey was saying, that was kind of a willful lynching of the people on January 6th, most of those people aren't guilty of really very much. There are a few assholes who do need to get taught a lesson, but there are a lot of people who basically were walking in the wrong part of town at night, got caught up in the excitement of the moment, swept in. Some of them waved in by policemen. Some thought they were doing the wrong thing. They're going to jail for years. Their lives are just damaged by the reckless non-justice that seems that our courts now render according to your politics and according to your public political actions. If you do the wrong public political action, suddenly normal justice is not available to you.
Yeah,
And that's demoralizing to a population.
it's
Sorry,
very
Jack.
dangerous because you're half a step away from gulags then.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Are we even half a step at this point?
We're creeping a lot further along.
Canada's got them. Canada has them.
Canada's a fucking dump these days, man. I don't know what the hell's going on up there.
When I said they have them, I'm kind of being facetious, but they do have places where they will lock you up for like a couple of weeks on these pretexts of COVID or whatever they happen to be afraid of at this moment. They'll put.
Didn't Australia
it's like
do that
being
too?
locked up in a Motel 6? Yeah, in Australia,
Down in Victoria?
I forget where. Well, I don't want to say the wrong thing because I get mixed up about
Canadians. Australians. Where was it they were doing that? I know there was one specific spot where they were really bad about it.
No, I think it was Victoria. It was Victoria. I remember. I remember. Sometimes I have to walk through my memory a little bit to get there, Hamaki. But
mine has giant holes. I can't walk through it. I'll trip.
I hear you. So,
all right. Go ahead, bud.
In conclusion, there ain't no justice if you're a Republican right now.
No, you're on a terror watch list by the FBI.
No kidding.
Hell, you don't even have to be conservative anymore. You just have to be somewhat rational on the left. And they will fucking drag you. It's retarded.
I get pushed back all the time on Twitter just for being a libertarian. I'm sorry, Jack. I stepped on you.
No, that's fine. We talked briefly about how the FBI is looking at classifying ultra mega Republicans as somebody they need to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah.
There's that article the other day about that from Newsweek, of all places. So,
did you see the follow-up?
It's going to get worse. No,
the administration,
FBI we're not going to do
yes,
that.
the administration came out and went, we absolutely aren't doing that.
Wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, cough, cough. Know what I mean? They
said we would never. They actually said we wouldn't do anything that would violate the First Amendment rights of people.
Oh yeah, how's that disinformation board going? How about all those federal agents that were on the boards of Google and Twitter and various other social media platforms? Huh?
Well, your First Amendment rights are safe in the hands of Corinne Jean-Pierre because she walks in history, my friend.
That's true. She is a historic figure. Just ask her.
Yeah.
This is
and eventually FBI. She will get Bart Simpson, but
this is the FBI that was going to put informants in Catholic churches.
Yeah.
We would never violate your First Amendment rights. Fuck you.
How many parts of the Constitution, how many parts of the Bill of Rights can we hit in one foul act? Well,
right.
Let's infiltrate the churches.
We have assembly.
Don't forget the schools too.
Well, with the churches, you have assembly, church, and free speech all in one. The entirety of the First Amendment. And we would never do that.
You got 1, 4, and 5 right off the bat. If they take your gun away, that nails 2. You're halfway down the Bill of Rights already.
Well, when they start forcing people to take illegal immigrants and board them in their homes, now we have to quarter people too.
Right, exactly.
That's the one nobody ever thinks about till it happens.
All right, I'm not going to read the story, but if you guys want to read the story I was just talking about where the FBI denies it, it is in your chat now. You can also find it on my Twitter timeline if you guys are over there. But Jack has a a story, somebody whining about the Supreme Court, and that interests me. This is from The Conversation. I don't know who these people are.
Oh, you're gonna love them.
Yeah, I saw the title and immediately went,
Yeah, I got
Supreme
another
Court-
one I was trying to dig out, so buckle in, buddy.
Oh boy.
Supreme Court is increasingly putting Christians' First Amendment rights ahead of others' dignity. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Dignity. That's more important.
I'll finish reading that headline as soon as this vein in my head stops throbbing.
So
Rights
never.
ahead of dignity. And that's outrageous.
Yeah. Yes, clearly. My fifis take precedent over your speech, good sir.
Supreme Court is increasingly putting Christians' First Amendment rights ahead of others' dignity and rights to equal protection.
Equal protection. What they don't understand the equal protection clause, I assure you.
I've talked about it before.
Sounds
all
like
right.
I'll bet
something
you
that
have.
some old racist slave owners would have.
Some old white man made that up. That's why
Ugh,
Skeptalk likes it.
White. Oh, it's whitey. Oh.
We finally have an older white guy on the show we can point to and blame.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Boomer.
All right.
Oh.
When the Supreme Court ruled in 303 Creative versus Alenus in 2023 that a business person could not be compelled to create art that violates their religious belief, specifically a wedding website for same-sex ceremony, supporters of the decision celebrated it as a victory for freedom of religion and expression. That's because that's what it was. Yeah, they absolutely. You cannot force somebody to do something like that, and especially when you could have gone to tons of web makers out there that would have made that shit for you. On the day of the ruling was issued, the Conservative Family Research Council called it the latest in a trend of victories for free speech and religious liberty, while the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. I need to get my own foundation.
Yeah, you do.
Foundation for selling bridges that don't really exist. What do you think? I mean, there's fraud in the title, but that lets everybody in on it. So if anybody buys my bridges at that point, it's really their fault, right?
In fact, you might even be able, after you defraud them, to sue them.
Yes.
If you work this right.
I say that them falling for it emotionally traumatized me.
How do you even go on? They clearly diminished your ability to earn a living.
I just have to roll up into a ball and cry a lot.
While the Foundation for for Individual Rights and Expression hailed a resounding victory for freedom of expression and freedom of conscience. Freedom of conscience is not a thing. But contrary to these claims, the Supreme Court decision does not protect the freedoms of all Americans. Yes, it does.
No, not those purple people eater Americans. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're making up shit now.
Rather, go ahead.
Go
Skip.
ahead. Go. Well, I was just going to say these guys expand rights with every burble of their pie holes. They come out and say, "I've got a right to this. I got a right to this." Essentially, what they're doing is, because of social media, I can now publicly exhibit my id and my naked desires. Every single little thing I want is now your duty to provide me. Any interface you have with me must be oriented toward me and my thing and my demands on you. And when you illustrative of this point is the notion of having your own fucking pronouns. What? Having your own grammatical hardware that has to be used for you, that serves no other purpose other than to be some kind of flair, like a sticker, like a child sticker they stick. Fucking hell.
There was a video that relates to this really well, and I don't have it. Damn it.
But have you heard about how special I am? Because special people deserve special things. And since there's obviously nothing special about me, and I'm completely mid in every respect of the terminology, I have to have special words so that I can feel special because my mommy said I'm special.
No,
This is
Jack.
spoiled
Jack,
child syndrome.
you are not. I think you're onto something. Here's what happened. People, the serotonin must flow, right? Everybody understands that the only thing that motivates you is serotonin and a few other chemicals that flow in your brain. The serotonin makes you feel good. So the serotonin must flow. What makes you feel good there are things like when you can reduce your uncertainty about the future, when you increase your control over a situation or the prospect of control. I'm just giving you a whole bunch of many years of psychology courses buttoned into a quick little digest. And all you want is you want to make that serotonin happen again and again. But if you don't have a lot of authority, if you are mentally lazy, if you're a slob and you go through life and you still want the serotonin to flow, but you don't have any good avenues for having people come back to say, hey, that's a cool thing. Hey, Monkey, what an amazing channel you have. Hey, Jack, you're one of the funniest people alive. These people don't have things like that. They don't get those ego strokes during the day. So here is an absolutely effort-free way for people to pay attention to them, and they get their little hit of serotonin. That's what makes the world go around, in my opinion.
All right, your
Well,
whole thing about like not having a life and being a slob, that hit a little close to home. That was a little mean. But nonetheless, you're not wrong. The problem is these are people that don't know how to do anything. They don't know how anything works. They're lazy. Some of them are pretty stupid. And they've been spoiled and coddled their entire lives to keep them from ever suffering consequences.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to embrace anything that is the equivalent of a daddy hug because they don't know who their daddies are way too often. Or the parents didn't love them enough or give them any attention, or they gave them too much. These people are spoiled toddlers. They're grown toddlers who throw a fit when they don't get their way. And that's what we're seeing. This is how you lose your rights because people demand you lose your rights.
Right.
gentlemen, hold that thought because you guys are right on for a video we're going to read or watch, but I want to read part of this real quick and finish with these idiots. It is all related. You guys are right, but I want to get to their argument here. The First Amendment protects a cluster of core rights and freedoms: religion, speech, press, peaceful assembly, and petitioning the government. The 303 creative decision threatens to undermine this crucial set of rights by privileging a particular group's version of what it means to exercise free speech and religion. We believe it will have harmful consequences for sexual minorities. That's a nice euphemism. Pursuit of inclusion and full citizenship across a range of domains. All right, let me ask you this. Do you guys think that they would be making this argument if this case was about somebody who wanted Muslims to make a website called MuhammadWasApedophile.com?
I think we all know the answer to that.
We all know the answer to that. Look, your rights, it's the same thing. Nobody can force you say you're a gay person and you're like, I don't want to make gay people are going to hell.com. It protects you too. What the fuck are you talking? It only protects the Christians. No, it doesn't, asshole.
Yeah.
This is what happens when people who have no idea how the court works see a decision they don't like, don't read it, and just talk.
Look, reading's really hard.
Oh.
And it takes up some time.
Where were we? Because they talk about the lower courts. Where's that part? Lower courts that ruled against 303 argued that the state has a compelling interest to protect the dignity of members of marginalized groups. No, they don't. Can somebody show me
What
the
is
right
the
to
duty?
dignity?
Right. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Actually, from a legal standpoint, if you say somebody has a duty like a duty of care, you say, okay, from what does that duty extend? Where's the legislation?
Where is it?
Says that people everywhere, or the public, will have this duty as citizens. They must do this thing. They are responsible for doing these things, and they have to do them, under these conditions. The who, where, when, why, all of whatever duties. Okay, show me where that legislation is. Where they'll point you is it's an inference drawn probably from a court decision.
Spaces says, or Dangerous Spaces says, stop saying duty.
Duty comes from your butt.
By overruling these lower court decisions, the Supreme Court ruling upends the standard of human dignity as central to liberty. Liberty absolutely does not guarantee dignity. Actually, it can be pretty undignified.
Yeah, liberty can be a tough part of town.
Yeah.
The thing about liberty is you have a chance to do things and do things independently. Liberty is the place where good ideas get a chance, and lack of liberty is where good ideas go to die.
I want to test these people. I really do. I want to go to them and ask them to do things for me that I know they hate, that they are absolutely against. Because I don't believe that they believe this at all. Because we all know they don't. It's specific against, well, you have to do this for the gay people.
You have to do what I want, not what I don't have to do what you want.
There are 330 million Americans in this country. There are more than half of those are adults. A good number of them are trained on building websites. A lot of those people are 100% gay. They're super gay. They'll take 5 dicks at once gay. And they will make you a website. Nobody said you can't have a website. They said you can't force somebody else to make it.
Yeah.
Fuck, you can. They actually have web hosting places that have very easy setups to make your own fucking website.
This compelled speech, and I hate the government stepping up and trying to do anything with speech other than leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
It's such an easy thing to not fuck up, and all you have to do is walk away from it.
All right.
What? No.
Gentlemen.
This one.
Gentlemen. So you've seen it. Have you seen it, Jack?
But I can look at that hairdo and be like, oh, you think you're a boy.
No. This is they, them.
No. Yeah, this is not binary stuff, man.
That's even worse. Like, non-binary people always look like 8-year-old boys. You notice that? They have like 8-year-old boy hairdos. They're probably all going to grow rat tails in a few years too to bring that trend back.
Yeah.
There's at least 2 people in that video right now. That's what they, them means. All right. So they, them had a rough day at work, and they're going to tell us about it.
I tried calling friends. Nobody's picking up, so I just am going to dump this here. It's the middle.
I tried calling friends. I ain't got any, so I'm going to dump my purse onto the internet.
Yeah. The internet is everybody's coffee table, and these people like to dump their purse out on it constantly.
Right. I want to take a poll in chat. How many people think this person actually tried to call somebody first before they dumped this on the internet? Give me a 1 if you think they went straight to the internet. Give me a 2 if you want to buy one of my bridges.
Well, there is the option that they tried to call like their mom, and even their mom's dodging them.
No. They went straight to the internet. I guarantee it. This fucking narcissistic bitch, there is no way they went, I'm going to call my friends first. All right. Oh, I got a bridge buyer. Hit me up. All right.
Of the day, I completely understand, but I just had a really harrowing experience at work.
A really harrowing experience at work. Now, I hear something like that, and I think, oh my God, did you get robbed?
Well, first of all, I have heard harrowing today, and I have also heard dastardly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis used that one. I'm like, Dick Dastardly? So now I know who's really behind the
Snidely Whiplash?
No, Dick Dastardly and Muttley obviously were behind the Palestinian invasion.
Probably.
So the wacky races is on. But those are 2 words I haven't heard in probably a decade. What the hell is going on? Like those are they're kind of outdated words that you just don't hear because people are dumber.
Dastardly is definitely archaic. What's the other word? I'm sorry.
Harrowing.
Oh, harrowing. No, that's a good fear modifier. That's fine.
I've heard that quite a bit with these people. They have a lot of harrowing experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because somebody bought a thesaurus and they all copy off each other. That's why.
I don't think that's what it is. I think they're trying to say heroin experience.
No, they're
That would
saying
be more believable.
yeah, they could be talking about a harrowing experience where they go out into a field and harrow like a row of corn.
Maybe. I doubt that they're smart enough to get that reference, though. All right. She just had a really horrible thing happen to her at work. I'm going to use, more common language for the folk. Just a horrible thing happened to her at work. Harrowing, even. Harrowing. For fuck's sake. She used the word. All right. Anyway, this is what happened. Are y'all ready for this stupid shit?
Wait. Is this going to be about like that barista that sat on the floor at Starbucks and whined about having to work 8 hours?
Worse. This is listen to this.
I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time she misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change. And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up yelling at her after the third time she misgendered me, and within like 30 minutes.
There it is. And this isn't the end of it. There's a little bit more to her harrowing experience here, but yeah, it's because she got misgendered.
Jesus Christ.
These people have no danger or risk in their lives at all.
No, I was just going to say, on the 13th free fall of my skydiving career, my parachute didn't fucking open and I couldn't clear the problem, and I had to cut it away.
That's harrowing.
To cut it away and pull my reserve, which opened at 900 feet for a 15-second canopy ride to hit the ground pretty hard. But I still, obviously, I'm still here. That is as close to harrowing as I've ever been, and I wouldn't describe that as harrowing. It was scary, but not.
I would.
That could be harrowing.
Real quick, let me get this. Mighty Balzac, thank you. They're perfectly cromulent words. I don't know.
Cromulent. Stop
Cromulent,
it.
Jesus.
Stop that.
Simpsons
What does that
fan.
mean?
It's from The Simpsons.
That's Simpsons.
Made-up word.
That's Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
It's a made-up word. Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to her harrowing experience. Remember, guys, 3 times and she finally snapped.
Like, they!
I'm sorry. They!
I use they, them pronouns.
Okay. The way you guys use they, them, it's in your case a substitute for she, her, which would be somebody talking about you. Why are you eavesdropping?
I think she confronted this person while eavesdropping, and this person looked at whoever she was talking to and was like, that's the bitch right there. That's her. She's the one I'm talking about.
If she was talking to you, the pronoun she would have used is you stupid shit.
Here, another thing is, I have seen the faces of men who've been through harrowing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the face of somebody who's been through
Hey.
a truly harrowing experience. That's a person who's having a good time and is LARPing.
No. Look, right back here. Oh wait, that first one was actually better.
We're misgendering.
Right.
They
has,
that's what they're doing.
They has some tears in their eye right here. You can see she has real tears.
They has tears.
They has real tears.
They can has tears burgers.
They don't got no tears.
No, they have tears because this is the worst thing that's ever happened in their life because
Yes.
they have no danger, no fear. They live very comfortable, cushy lives. They may have low-paying jobs or something like that, but they're not afraid of getting robbed in their neighborhoods. They're not afraid of not eating this week. These are first world problems across the board in the worst way possible. These people need to experience real strife. They don't have any. And I think we should take them on what I would call an African journey. And we take them and dump them in some little village in the middle of fucking Congo and let them fend off Boko Haram. Like, let's help the Congolese out and dump these people there as willing sacrifice. I mean, free defense forces. We could do this with Antifa too. Send them in there and let them try the shit that they're pulling now. out there because they will survive maybe a day.
Yeah.
In
she's
chat,
gonna-
Rodline says, I had a hangnail. That's harrowing. Compared to this, it absolutely is. And this is
Yes.
Kyle. Thank you. Lady, we know what pronouns you use. We think they are stupid. Indeed.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Skip. What'd you say?
I was echoing your sentiment. This is just about attention for they. And
Oh, wait.
and,
They's story gets a lot worse, and Jack hasn't heard it yet. So we're gonna go ahead.
I was going to say
with a
we
little
should
more.
run it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate both of you right now.
Not as much as you're gonna.
Yeah.
Q, thanks so much. Skep should sell his skydiving experience as a colon cleanse. Be sure to include fresh undies in the package. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Get your attention.
Experience at work.
Oh my God.
I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time she misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change.
Oh my God.
And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up yelling at her after the third time she misgendered me, and within like 30 minutes, like I use they, them pronouns.
I just want to pause there to point out, by her own telling, she's saying she screamed at one of her coworkers.
Yeah, and to
Just-
quote Ricky, this is how I pictured it going. Ricky being Amberlynn Reed's former roommate. No one cares.
But she does, Jack, and that's what's important.
That's what I would have yelled from my cubicle over at these two morons who are probably arguing at this point. There's somebody misgendering her, and then she pipes up with that, yelling at this other woman. I'd be like, nobody cares.
Oh,
Some of
wait,
them work
no,
here.
Jack,
No.
she gets worse than that.
Oh yeah. Listen up.
And she got so defensive. And I just started explaining to her, like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Like, you need to at least make an attempt.
Oh, no.
And she popped off, got upset, got defensive. What are you going to do about it? And I just said, I'm going to be really hurt and sad. Like,
Good, that's the point.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, it sounds like a you issue. Because the rest of the world doesn't have to feed into your crazy delusion, you stupid weirdo.
Still
You
not getting.
attention-seeking whore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still not getting the harrowing from that face. Look at that face.
No, she's smiling with her fake crying.
Yeah.
Hey, she tried to call friends. She was so upset.
Oh, no,
Oh,
she's gonna have friends. We've established this. No, this is more like, oh my God, why did they bend to my whimsies? Don't they know who I am?
You know,
All right.
it's a sobering thing.
Here comes the worst part, Jack. Settle in. This is going to break your heart.
Yeah.
that's all I can do about it. And the worst part is that at that point, my boss, who claims to be so woke and like happy and joyous and making a safe, positive environment for everybody, gangs up on me with her and says, like, this is Carson, like, shut up. This is not the time for a political statement. And
Accurate.
Two things. Your boss is accurate, and you picked the name Carson for your boy name?
For real.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Johnny Carson's wasn't
For
using
real.
it anymore. But her
Oh, I'm
boss
sorry.
is like, hey, we're in a meeting or
Right.
whatever. Like, hey, we're working. Could you shut up and whine about this later on social media like you always did?
Your boss is right here, and you were yelling at a coworker.
Yeah. If anything, she should be reprimanded for disrupting the business work environment.
But now you see why she's so upset, right, Jack? 'Cause,
Oh.
I love the fact that she's talking about her boss, and she's like, who claims to be woke and happy. For some reason, throws the happy in there, like we need to know the demeanor of her boss.
Well, only woke people are happy. I mean, can you tell how happy this person is by
Yeah.
their miserable inability to accept that somebody doesn't want to bend to their will?
Just another guy says, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah. This is what happens when a struggle session fails.
Fails.
All right.
I was upset, rightfully so, but
No, not rightfully
No,
so.
that
Yeah.
delusionally so.
Self-justifying narrative.
You are a
Yeah.
thin-skinned retard.
Yeah, that's pretty good way to put it.
This is what upsets you. I just want to remind you guys, I grew up in a black neighborhood where my seventh or sixth grade teacher, no, it was seventh grade, female teacher looks at me and says, "My name is Francis too." You think being called she when you're a female is rough? You would have curled up in a ball and died with what I went through.
Oh,
Fuck
none of
you.
these kids would have survived the 80s, dude. None of them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was-
Franklin was not any better in 1958.
Having your female teacher look at you and my name is Francis too. That was, my heart just sank. I was like, fuck, this year's going to be rough. All right.
Was trying to take such a level-headed approach to it of like, this is not a political statement.
Kind of is. You don't see a lot of right-wingers going, my pronouns are they.
I tried to take such a level-headed approach. You screamed at a coworker.
Yeah, that was level-headed, Monkey. You should see it when she flips out.
Why did she hate you? Actually, that teacher loved me. I don't know why she did that at the time.
She was happy to not be the only Francis, probably.
But Miss Lumpkin was her name. She was a sweetheart, and yeah, one of my favorite teachers I ever had, except for that moment. All right, here we go.
My identity is not a political statement.
Yes, it
it's
is.
just my identity.
No, it's not.
All I'm asking you to do is respect that. And it really is within our own community that people have the most rampant transphobia.
Are you trans being non-binary?
Yes.
It's not a thing. It's non-binary. It's trans, it says you go from one to another. That's transitory.
Transby.
She also says that in our own community, she never told us that her boss is gay or lesbian or bisexual or trans, just that she's an ally.
Yeah.
Well, what if her coworker is like a lesbian or something? Because we don't know that either.
Yeah, I would tell them just, my personal identity is calling people she, her when they look like a she, her. Shut up, Carson.
Carson.
The coworker that
Yeah, like were Hunter? You were like, I'll go Carson. So
I want a city name, but not one that's big. So I'm not going to go with Cheyenne or Cody or Vegas. I think I'll go with Carson.
From now on, my name is Deadwood.
Yeah, that'd have been a better choice. At least it'd be like, all right, well, you put some time into it.
Yeah, that one sounds badass too.
Yeah.
There is no intelligence behind
out-
that face.
Check out Blair on Jubilee interview. It's exactly this versus Blair.
Oh, is that the tranny who went off on Blair?
Probably.
Yeah.
The one on Ruben's show.
Yeah. Dave Rubin was featuring it, I think.
Look how despondent this person is. Carson, whatever your stupid fake name is. You need more sadness in your life. Seriously, you need some struggle. Your parents need to kick you out of the house.
Some toughening.
Yeah, you need to get toughened up. Your parents need to kick you out of the house, force you to take care of yourself, pay your own bills. Because I have no doubt this person lives at home, and or if they don't, their apartment's paid for by mom and dad.
Yeah.
Mighty Balzac says Carson is actually kind of pretty. Carson would be a very pretty lady if she'd embrace being a lady.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure she could pretty herself up and probably get herself some sex in, which she probably desperately needs.
She has nice features. She's not an ugly woman.
No.
She's just trying to look like a boy.
But once again, that mental laziness I was talking about before, that's the thing that I see again and again in really this generation. I have to blame my generation. We're the ones who fucked it all up.
I agree.
We just didn't. We made it too good too early for too many. And
yes.
I would argue that it was a lack of discipline to making people work for stuff. Because you didn't make it too easy. You allowed it to be easy.
Okay.
You said, well, I don't want you to have to go through what I went through, so I'm just going to gift it to you.
I hear you. Yeah.
And yeah, these people are absolutely intellectually lazy. They're taking the easy way out on everything.
it's an easy thing to do as a parent to be like, I don't want my child to go through this thing that I hated in my childhood.
Yeah, of course. But as somebody with no kids, I am going to instruct people on how to parent.
No, but the point you're making, this is where we've talked about it before, where the male-female dynamic comes into play. Even way back when you're growing up, Skep, mothers were more comforting than dads were. Dads were like, no, fucking let him get a job.
Exactly.
My
dad was never around because he was, a highly placed Air Force officer.
Sure, yeah.
Things to do. So he was always away, and that was just understood. That was part of being in the service. Part of being a military family was that your dad wasn't around much, even when he had duty where he didn't deploy someplace. He was always on business trips and the like, on account of he was an engineer. He was a aeronautical engineer, but he also managed a lot of the engineering stuff. That's how he came to be the secretary of the scientific advisory board of the Air Force.
My dad wasn't around much, but mom didn't play either back then. You know what I blame for this? And you guys have heard me say this. It's been a while since I've went off on this rant. I blame psychology. Because you have this rise of psychologists, and you can trace this with where this happens. It starts late 70s and throughout the 80s. You have this rise of psychologists. Dr. Spock being the biggest piece of shit at this time in this regard, where instead of raising children, we started treating children almost like cult objects, that they have to be protected. Children are Fabergé eggs. And I'm all for keeping children safe. But you have to let them have experience too, and you can't keep them as safe as we've gone.
You have to let them skin their knees.
Yes,
that's the way I raised my kids, who, came out pretty good. And not saying that I have all the answers, but I definitely let them have their head and let them make some mistakes.
Yes,
free range children. Oh, you guys are monsters. Let them go out and explore and have lives. Oh my God. No, I need to be around my kid all the time, constantly correcting them and keeping them safe in the little hug box that's designed for them, telling them special.
Are awful. Helicopter parents ruin children. Those children they're never independent. They don't learn how to solve their own problems. They don't learn how to toughen up, strap it on, and say, I'm going to get through whatever this hard thing I'm facing is.
Well, we're looking at a perfect example of it right now. This is strife to this person.
Absolutely.
It's harrowing. Thank you. Understatement. Thank you. She yells like Black Suit Spidey yelling at Shocker. Also, you can refer to someone in third person in front of them as in an introduction or story. I mean, you can, but how often is that going to happen? 3 times in half an hour.
Oh, yeah. See, if I was this person's coworker and they pulled this shit on me, the next day at work, I'd be like, "What's up, they, them?" All day long. I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, will you take this file over to they, them?" And
these days, that'd get you fired.
Get it?
Oh, yeah.
These days, that'd get you fired in a minute.
Yeah, I know, but it might be worth it.
You might be right.
I would make this person cry in probably 5 minutes.
Jack, somebody made this person cry and they weren't even trying to.
I know, but I would have them in a ball in the fetal position, bawling their eyes out as if their best friend dog had died and I tore up their teddy bear and then peed on it. Yeah, absolutely. I would ruin this person mentally for like a week.
All right, we got over a minute of this.
Oh
left,
God, why?
Because it's funny. That's why.
Refuses to use the correct pronouns for me, claims to be bisexual, and she stands up and goes, "When I came out as bisexual, everybody was mad at me." It's like, then why are you mad at the trans kid? Like, what?
You're not trans. You're non-binary. You said that. Those are different things.
Yeah, and they use the they them instead of he or she.
Yeah. I don't understand this conflation of non-binary and trans, because you would think they would want to be distinct. Instead, they're glomming on to something else because non-binary is fake.
Jack, you're missing the point there. Being non-binary makes you more special than just being trans.
Yeah,
and as a non-binary, as a non-binary, you can be as special as you want. You can be more special than the non-binary next to you because you are a different kind of non-binary, while still being part of the glob of LGBTQ plus IA 106.9.
I'm going to work an analogy here. Just kind of run with me on this for a second. Non-binaries are the sorbet of the LGBTQ community.
The sorbet.
Yes, because it's in the ice cream section.
Yes.
But it's not ice cream.
It's not ice cream.
No, it's not ice cream. And it's used, and it should be used differently. Sorbet.
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't go with the same foods. You can't put sorbet on pie because, well, I mean, you can put it on pie or hot dogs, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's got different flavors, and it's sort of similar. And there are sorbets that are kind of ice cream like.
You don't use it as a dessert. That's the thing. Sorbet back in the day.
How dare you? That's what I use it as.
I know. And that's what everybody does.
Yeah,
but sorbet was primarily used as a refreshment between courses, specifically between meat courses.
A palate cleanser.
In French dining. Yeah.
See,
between the goose and the beef.
That just reinforces my point: is that what this person needs is a good meat course.
Needs a couple of them. But
yeah. What do you think the odds are that we're looking at a vegan?
I'm going to say actually kind of low because they have some fat in their face.
Yeah, they're a little peppy. Look, I would
fat.
I will
maybe
jump on the grenade and have sex with this person, or my name isn't Matthias Gerbroni.
That is very noble of you. What a harrowing experience that would be.
It would be, and I would tell all on TikTok about how they misgendered me the entire time.
There's probably a book in that.
It would be an erotic book.
Pain onto me? Why? It's so frustrating because then my boss spends.
Okay, I got to back up. She says her boss is bisexual and says, when I came out as bisexual, everyone hated me. And she's like, why would you put that same pain on me? Because somebody misgendered you. That's not a hate thing. That's somebody just, respecting the use of the English language.
And not bowing to your insane demands.
Yeah. And this is another thing that happens all the time. Like, it's just like this. No, it's not. You're bad at analogies. Please stop using them. Please. The left sucks at analogies. They really, really do.
Yep.
It around as like I'm the one who's making a scene.
You told us you yelled at your coworker. You're treating me like I created a scene when I created a scene.
Emotion first, then logic.
Good God Almighty!
Was it the coworker that's a bisexual, or is it the boss?
They
the
both
boss, are. I think. Oh, are they both?
No, I think they are both bisexual because I think she said when I came out as bisexual, and I got the feeling, oh, okay, so they're both bisexual. Now that may have been an unwarranted conclusion.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can't believe I even care this much, but here we are.
I mean, I just find bisexual people to be indecisive, but at least that's an actual thing, as opposed to non-binary, which is made up attention-seeking nonsense.
Yes, exactly right. This is perfectly said.
It is being like over emotional or oversensitive.
You're sitting in your car crying about it.
Yeah.
That's not, honey, this isn't normal, sweetie. This isn't normal.
Is she on her period? Does she tell us?
Oh, tell me you've never met your dad without telling me you've never met your dad.
Yeah. Look, he was totally going to go to that recital, but there just weren't any cigarettes at the convenience store, so he had to go to the next town over.
He's still looking. He's trying to find them. All right. Oh, God.
Lucky strikes are hard to find.
All I am asking is for you to make an attempt to try and respect my gender identity. And they're both just going at me like this is not the time. We're trying our best. You should be compassionate and understanding. You should just accept it with love and move on. Like
they never said that.
No, they said you should be a fucking professional and knock that off.
You should accept us misgendering you with love. They never said that. Stop it.
I'm hearing the lyrics to Springsteen's "Hungry Heart."
Oh yeah. Oh God. All right.
Right as
We-
I
Got a wife and kids in Baltimore, Jack. I went out for a ride and I never came back.
Never came back.
Well, you know, I'm not judging. I'm just saying sometimes I understand it. Like, oh, this is my life now. Ooh.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
if her dad ran away, seeing her now, I'd be like, yeah, I get it, dude. I get it.
Yeah.
I can't blame you.
Yeah.
We
Uh,
have
but-
20
Good call. Solid call.
We have 26 seconds left. I am
Look.
not going to interrupt.
I am, because let's be honest here, okay? Right as I finished, I'd be like, she, and then leave.
Yeah, me too.
Probably braid her fridge on the way out.
Actually, I would look if I was the boss in the situation. When this was all done, I would have looked at the other coworker and went, "She's nuts."
Oh, she absolutely is nuts.
All
I would hate to be her coworker. You're walking on eggshells all the time just so you can avoid getting yelled at by this lunatic and then your boss. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's why I like doing this job.
I also want to point out that she has still got the crying. She literally has tears here. And
Yes.
excess spit in her mouth from crying
Yeah. That's cholinergic reflux. Yeah.
over all of this shit.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Let's finish with crazy. I'm going to shut up.
It's so frustrating. I literally was shaking so hard. I just got up and left. I came to the beach. I didn't know what else to do. I was so mad. But this is just so hard. It's so hard to be out and be vocal about it. It's so hard to stand up for yourself because either you are a doormat or you're the bitch that like is over emotional and calls everybody out for the
Wait, you're
Okay,
so
I did
mad
it.
you went to the beach? Who
She went to the
fuck
beach
goes
over
to
it.
the beach when you're mad?
She went.
What's
I
in
wanna
the
know-
beach? What?
I want to know if she went to the beach, if she tried calling friends before or after she went to the beach.
I don't know. Who sits there pouting, staring at seagulls? That's weird to me. I don't get that. If you're going to get mad and brood, you go to somewhere to be isolated.
Yeah.
Maybe a
I'm-
coffee shop, I could guess. Understand that? I don't know what these people do for fun.
What
But-
was it? Virginia Woolf who walked into the river with weights in her boots into the River Seine in Paris. Is that what she was thinking? She was going to walk into the ocean and just
No,
sink
she
away
went to
like
the beach to get some sun and like, oh, I'm just going to forget the woes of my day. Oh my God, life's so hard being me.
so hard.
The
I
the
just-
worst part is for this retard, this probably is traumatic because she has no strife in her life.
Yeah.
Seriously, when China invades or Russia or whoever's going to invade us, not just the Mexicans, it's going to be like on the West Coast, and these people will have a wake-up call because they're not just going to drive through with those speakers going, "You a boy, you a girl."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the wake up call is going to come in about 10 years when the looks aren't there and probably the inattention to living a sane life will have taken its physical toll on her. And there's nothing that gets noticed. There's nothing that turns as invisible as an unattractive aging woman in our society. It's a little bit unfair, but that's the way it is. They just vanish from view. Nobody gives them a second thought. They can barely get weighted on. And
Real quick, let me get
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I
Sure.
want to adjust
Yeah, yeah.
that. Corey, thank you. Maybe Hot Topic is hiring.
nice.
Well played.
Well played.
It's even worse than that because if these people got their way,
Mhm.
if every time that you said, they, come here, I need they over here. If they got their way, eventually it gets to the point where it's just mundane and they go back to even if it's next year,
Mhm.
she goes back to just being mundane. So she has to find something else to make her stand out other than yelling at people for the wrong fucking pronoun when they were using the right one.
Meanwhile, over the years, as people know her, their resentment builds up over and over as having to remember that they use the right fucking pronoun and they have to be careful when you're talking with her to not offend this nutbag because she'll throw herself off the roof.
All these people are a headache to be around because you constantly are trying to. I don't know how they have any friends because you have to check everything you think and say every single word because
Right,
they might
Jack.
get offended by it.
You notice nobody answered the phone.
Right? But unfortunately, it seems to be kind of a trend. There's this girl's actually probably potentially pretty, but so many of them are just like 3s and 4s on a good day. And
Yeah.
they dress like circus people. Nobody wants to be around them because they're a hassle. And it's a lot of upkeep. Even their families fucking hate them. And I get it. Like, who wants to deal with that all the time?
That
Mighty
face is not
Ballsack.
gonna age well. Sorry.
Mighty Balzac, thank you. Speak to Hamas, Carson. They're also oppressed. Thank you. Yeah, we started out the show talking about what's going on over there in Israel and that. I'm trying to imagine Carson here at that all night dance party that the Palestinians, ran through, raping, killing, and kidnapping.
Mhm. Yep.
Be like, you shot me. Make sure you call me they.
Yeah, that would be harrowing.
Yeah, this person would take a bullet and one of the soldiers would be standing over and go, I got her. They.
Yeah. On that, we're going to wrap up, gentlemen, because I'm going to try to do a game stream. Is Bubba in the audience? I don't know if I've seen him recently.
I saw him earlier. Bubba.
If Bubba's around, we'll play some Phasmo. If Bubba's not around, I might play some RimWorld. I haven't played that in a long, long time. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. Oh, Bubba's here. We're going to play some Phasmo. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are incredibly generous. We really, really do appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to show?
No, I haven't done anything. But thank you for the donations. You guys are awesome. Hopefully we'll have some videos up tomorrow. But I've been super busy and I feel like shit. So my sinuses are flared. But thank you guys for everything.
Skep, anything you want to show out?
Just that follow me on Twitter at Skeptic Alpha, SKEPTICALFA. And that's about the only social media I'm active on, and would love to see you out there. And Monkey, thank you, and Jack, thank you guys both for having me on the show. It's just great fun to hang out with you. It's been a minute since Monkey and I streamed together, and I sure appreciated having the opportunity to spend the evening with you guys. Thanks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Bastard stepping on what I was going to say. Can you believe this fucker? Understatement. Thank you so much. For the love of God, don't go back to sleep. I won't. I promise. Not for a little while. No, Skep, it's been way too long, dude. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah.
My pleasure's all mine, Monkey. Thank you so much, bud.
All right. And with that, guys, we are going to take off. Everybody have a good night. Jack, Skep, pleasure as always, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Good
Always
night.
glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. And try not to, well, if you do piss off any they-thems, please record it and send it in. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
They-them was upset because somebody rightfully called them she. I don't know what rhymes with that. It'll be funny.